manipulation tactics to use on a healed individual. Now, this is method two, the being fixable method. Now, where a lot of people go wrong on this is they think that you can simply just be scum and things are going to work out for you. Well, that is part of it. There is much more nuance to it. Like, if you're just simply scum, some of these people aren't going to want to deal with you. The key part is to know what flaws are deal breakers and what flaws aren't deal breakers. Examples, if you talk about not being loyal, that's probably going to be a deal breaker. But if you talk about struggling with communication, it probably won't be. But the real key part with these flaws is to mention that you have them, but never actually show that you have them. What do I mean by this? I mean, you can say something like, yo, full disclosure, I'm not the best at communication. However, when a situation arises where you have to communicate your ass off. But while you're communicating, say, I know I'm not the best at communication, but I am trying. I hope, I'm doing okay right now. And you can always swing this into some pretty natural sounding love bombing. Like me, for instance, I'm a bad texter. So whenever I do this, I'll be like, yo, I'm a horrible texter. And the response is always, well, you're texting me just fine. And I'm like, it's different though. And they're like, how is it different? I'm like, I don't know. And I just brush it off, right? So in their mind, they're like, oh my gosh, Bryce likes me a lot, but he's trying not to show it. But in my mind, they're playing right into my hands. What this whole fake telling on yourself thing does is consciously they think they're better than you, which we need because we need to feed into their ego in this instance. But subconsciously, they know they've never seen you be anything less than spectacular. But speaking of this, we need to feed into their egos more. So what you can do is start love bombing them in ways that aren't exclusively romantic. When they eventually share some bullshit philosophy that they pretend to have, like, oh, when someone does me dirty, I don't even get mad because that has everything to do with them and nothing to do with me, and I value myself, blah, blah, blah. Pretend like that's the most profound shit you've ever heard and not something that they just make up to make themselves feel better. Like, act super impressed, and when they keep blabbering on about it, like, oh, my ex, blah, 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 what you need to do is be like, oh my gosh, can I just tell you, like, the growth you must have had, I find so astounding because I know I struggle with trying to get that sort of view, so I can't even imagine the journey you must have went on to come across it yourself, and I really just want to say I really admire that. This obviously gasses them up, so you eventually become the guy or gal that makes them feel larger than life, and that's always what you want to do with these healed people. Also, do not be afraid to confide in these people a little bit. Be like, you know what, I have anxiety, and they'll probably say some bullshit to you like, have you tried meditating? You should be like, no, not really. Does it really work like that? And they're always going to be like, yes, oh my gosh, you have to try it, blah, blah, blah. Now, here's what you do. You pretend that you tried meditating. And then you check back in on them later and be like, yo, I just want to say I was really stressed out earlier, but then I tried meditating like you said, and I've tried it a few times earlier, but it wasn't really working. But now I feel like it's really starting to have a positive effect. This is going to make them feel like you're getting better, and it's going to be their responsibility. They're going to take the credit for you, and that's what they want at the end.